Alright guys, welcome back to another video with me, Kevin Twist, and we're back on all Scottish football this week. It's been a great week, a great international break, should I say, for the Scotland national team. 6 out of 6 points. Lovely. We'll first start with a game at Hampden. We'll Celtic took on Moldova, everyone was in like 4 or 5. No, it was 1-0. Well, Dykes managed to get his first out of the 2 goals he scored this international break. And they managed to get it with a nice little tap in, which gave us the 3 points. Probably could have won with more, but we'll take it. 3 points is big in general. After this international break, we're now leading in second because we then went away to Austria, which is the gameplay you'll be seeing in the background. We managed to go away to Austria and win 1-0. We probably could have made it 2-0 later on. They seem to maybe have targeted Kieran Tierney a little bit centre back because obviously he's the smallest out of the 3 that is available at the time. Craig Gordon having another good game. It's all decent. Dykes managed to score from the penalty spot. The keeper would be very disappointed at the fact that he didn't save it because it wasn't the best of penalties. But we take the 6 out of 6 points. It puts us in second, which is going to be a very big thing to try and hold on to. We've still got Israel to face, who are in third, and they are the team that we are realistically fighting off for that second. I think the win against Austria, it doesn't stop Austria from qualifying, but it makes them a lot. It gives them a bigger challenge to climb, whilst us and Israel are still kind of neck and neck. Whilst there's now a tiny gap between us and Austria, and same with Israel and Austria. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. A little bit of positivity after the Moldova game. A bit of negativity. If you follow me on Twitter at KevinTwist67 on Twitter and on Instagram, you would have seen on Twitter, I'm not the biggest fan of Clark. I've never been the biggest fan of Clark. I praise him when he's done a tactical masterclass, and I'll be as loud as my criticism. And praising, but I don't really like the football. But it's effective against the bigger nations. I'll give them that. Against the bigger nations, brilliant. In the England game, brilliant. In the Austria game, brilliant. They kind of games are those ones. When we go a bit more attacking, when he tries to change up his playing style, that's when I find it doesn't quite work. Plus, we don't really have a striker that scores all the goals. I mean, if I think about it, Dykes is good to a QPR level. I think that's someone 5 goals for Scotland now. Or someone said it on Twitter at least, so I don't know. But then of course Nisbet scores a lot for Hibs, so Shea Adams scores some goals, but not many at club level. So we don't have a prolific goal scorer that's consistent. But it does give us a good, a little bit of momentum going into that Israel game. I believe it's at Hampden. I think it's already sold out as well, so if we can get 3 points there, we've got 2 easy games after on paper, and then it's Denmark. But I think we could be qualified, but before that final game against Denmark. And to be honest, as long as we win all the games, I don't care how bad football it is, because Steve Clark ball is not maybe the nicest to watch, but if it's effective, I'm fine. If he gets the results, I'm perfectly fine. So hopefully we do make it to the World Cup. But now, let's move on to the next bit of the video. Bloody normal football's back. The international break is no more. So let's start with the early kickoff on Saturday. It's St Johnstone hosting Rangers. It's an interesting tie, one that St Johnstone, I don't know if it was the last game against Rangers, at least the one in the Cup. They did manage to, take them to penalties in that and beat them on penalties in that Scottish Cup run. So, they're not the easiest team to beat. Of course, they've lost some players like Ali McCann, as I covered in the last video. But yeah, I think Rangers will run them right now that they don't have someone of the quality like an Ali McCann and Kerr left as well. But this will really show the loss of the 2 players, especially to the rest of the squad. Especially losing your captain and such a young, talented player like Alan McCann. Rangers 3-1. That's what I'm going to say. We move on to one of the 3 o'clock games. It's St Mirren hosting Dundee United. I see this being a 1-1 draw. Dundee versus Livingston. I think this is going to be a 1-0 Livingston. Also at 3 o'clock. The game that I'm going to is a Celtic season ticket holder. It is Celtic taking on Ross County. And I see this being 3-1. 3-1 Celtic. Motherwell host Aberdeen. She's fine, thanks. I know I say that every video, but funny, isn't it? Hey. Aberdeen 2-1. And then we move on to the biggest game of the weekend. It is the Edinburgh Derby. It is back. And it's at Tynecastle, a 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. Hearts taking on Hibs. What do I think of this? Hearts do, if you look at statistics and all that, Hearts do have the better record in this derby. But do I think Hibs are so much stronger that, you know, they can break that? I don't think it'll be like, you know, a Hearts walk all over them. I think it'll be tight. I do think it'll be tight. Boyle, I think's injured, so I think I'm swinging more towards Hearts here, which is something I don't usually say, but I'm thinking 1-0 Hearts. I see it being a low scoring game, and I see someone like Boyce, like a penalty or something, just Boyce scoring. For some reason I can just see Boyce scoring on Sunday. But yes, that's the predictions out the way, and now on to some more news actually about Hearts, as they've taken over most of the Scottish news over the last week when we're talking about non-international break football. Hearts are now fan-owned. They are now a fan-owned club after the fans have managed to take over Heart of Midlothian Football Club after Anne Budge being the owner for so many years. I don't really know too much about it. I don't really pay too much attention to Hearts, especially now that I'm just back to the Premiership. But you know, great, you know, everyone wants to own their own club, you know, you grow up, you want to be able to own your own club. And hopefully it means that Hearts can compete more and we get a more competitive league, you know, helps the coefficient eventually, etc, etc. But yes, now moving on to the next bit of Hearts news. Hearts have signed former Rangers, Swansea, Nottingham Forest and recently former Fleetwood Town winger Barry Mackay. He's back in Scotland. He's joined on a 2-year deal to the Edinburgh-based side. It's a big deal for them. He's not the most prolific goal scorer. Of course, he had that good season at Rangers before heading to England. But is he really what Hearts need? Giannelli's really good, Mackay's really good for the SPFL standard. So I think he's a good addition if they can get him firing. But when I look at the other wingers I can base it to, it's good for depth, I'll say that. But Giannelli, I think, he's a good player. Gary Mackay, you know, he's just got that, he's still got it. Maybe getting on a wee bit now, a wee bit more, you know, start maybe like slowing down a bit. But Gary Mackay, you know, he's still quality as well, so, you know, it's a bit of a decent thing for the Hearts, the Edinburgh based side, I mean Hearts. But yeah, that's all the news for this week. It's maybe not the most, like, jam-packed episode, but yeah, you know, Hearts now fan-owned, they've signed Barry Mackay, Scotland got 6 out of 6 points, that was the predictions. And I'll see you guys next time. Also, pay attention to this time next week. Bit of an interesting FIFA 22 news coming your way. But I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.